you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up so that everyone can hear. And if you could state your name and spell your last name, please, for the record.
Okay, Detective Ronald Soto, SOTO.
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Detective Soto. Could you please introduce yourself to the members of the jury and let them know what you do, how long you've been with SAPD?
Yeah, Detective Ronald Soto. I work in the homicide unit. I've been with the San Antonio Police Department for approximately 22 years now. Before that, I worked in the night CID unit, which is like a night detective unit that handles cases overnight before like homicide and SVU cases. And then it's been about 10 years on patrol prior to that.
Prior to becoming a San Antonio Police Department, do you have any military or educational background that's relevant to what you do?
No military, but I did work at Bexar County for like about a year and a half before coming to SAPD.
When you say Bexar County, what do you mean?
Oh, sorry, the Bexar County Sheriff's Department.
Okay. Were you a sheriff's deputy or did you work at the jail?
I was a deputy. I worked inside jail.
Okay. So what year did you join SAPD?
In 2003.
Okay. And when you first joined a police department, do you have to go through any specialized training?
Yes, we have to go through a police academy. I believe at the time our police academy lasted approximately like 7 months. It might still be the same, I'm not sure.
And are you a certified peace officer?
Yes, I am.
And how long did you spend in patrol before you moved to a different unit?
I did about 10 years in patrol before I promoted to detective.
So you spent about 10 years doing the same things and responding to the same kinds of calls that Officer Swain and Officer Biscara did on this day?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And then at that 10-year mark, what did you move on to?
That's when I tested and I promoted to detective.
And you started out in night CID, is that correct?
Actually, when I first promoted, I was in the CSI unit temporarily for maybe like 6 months, and then I went to night CID.
And you said night CID is that, and correct me if my description of it is wrong, is that kind of like a triage unit where if a crime happens after business hours, you guys come in and do what you can at the time, and then when business hours resume, the appropriate follow-up unit will continue the investigation?
Yes, ma'am. And for every unit, we handle all felonies that happen overnight. It can be property crimes, robberies, family violence, and then of course ag assaults and murders.
Okay. And then what year did you join the homicide team?
2022 is when I went to homicide.
Okay. And it's called homicide, but is all you do homicide?
Well, we handle officer involved shootings and murders.
Okay. And I guess just the unit in general. The unit homicide also handles aggravated assaults and things like that.
Yeah, so it's broken into, it's called homicide, but it's basically like 2 divisions. One side's ag assaults, and the other side is where the murder detectives are. And we have, like I said, all suspicious deaths, officer involved shootings, in custody, deaths, stuff like that.
Okay. And so on October 19th of 2023, were you on duty with the homicide unit?
Yes.
And because you said homicide detectives also do officer involved shootings, were you also responsible if some sort of officer involved shooting went down? You had to be responsible for it when you were on duty that day?
Yes, and the way it works is we work on a rotation. So but when this incident happened, I was actually like the next detective up.
Okay, so you were assigned to investigate this incident that we've been here talking about that happened at the intersection of Amistad Pass and Alta Puerta?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you write a report in relation to your involvement and investigation into this incident?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have a copy of it there with you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. You can use it to refresh your memory, just please don't read directly from it, okay?
Okay.
Now,
I'm sorry, counsel, for the record, could you label the report?
So we'll label it as B. Okay, we'll label this as Case Exhibit B just for.
All right, thank you.
Okay, and again, just for the record, would you tell the jury what the case number is that this case was investigated under?
Yes, it was a SAPD, excuse me, 23-5274.
And that case number stays with an investigation, and that gets put on all the supplement reports, all the items of evidence, anything that is related to this investigation, so that you can make sure that things get tagged to the right case.
Yes.
And when you get a case like this, an officer involved shooting, whether or not there are any hits, if somebody discharges a weapon, there's an officer involved shooting, correct?
Yes.
Investigation, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And what are the steps that you have to take when you begin an investigation into an incident like this?
Well, in this case, there was already, like I said, the night CAD was actually on duty when this happened. It happened after our shift, actually. I was just working late that day. And they're out there. The first person I'm gonna contact when I get out there is gonna be probably a night CID detective and the shoot commander, which in this case I think was Lieutenant Paduca.
What is the shoot command?
There's like someone in charge that's in charge of that's handling that shooting. It's gonna be an incident like commander for that shooting. Depending on how big the scene is, there could be like a separate area set up, like a command center set up. But in this case, we didn't have that. Lieutenant Paduca was actually there on scene when I got there.
When you respond to an incident like this, would you typically attempt to speak to the officer that discharged their weapon?
Yes, that would be one of at the scene. Typically, no, we would wait. They would go downtown first, and just depending on the circumstances of the situation, that would dictate whether or not we would talk to them then or set up a later meeting with them to take their statement.
Was that available to you in this incident?
No.
Okay. So what were the steps that you took in this incident, since the officer who discharged his weapon, as well as the other officer who was actually, well, they were both shot, but the other officer who was also shot, since they weren't there for you to talk to, what steps did you take to begin your investigation?
So in this case, like I said, I spoke with the night detective, Lieutenant Paduca, and then whatever witnesses they had already separated, I would talk to them, decided which ones I'm gonna send back to police headquarters, which ones I might just take a statement from them there, or if they could even go back to headquarters. Sometimes they can't. Any officers at the scene that usually the witness officers are actually gonna go back no matter what to headquarters. But there might be some other officers there that know a little about what's going on, because maybe they're standing with a witness or protecting some of the crime scene evidence.
Apart from talking to witnesses, do you do anything else in the area to collect evidence that might be relevant to your investigation?
Yes, ma'am. I'm looking for a video and just kind of walking the scene again. Just maybe there's someone that was missed that lives in the area that the officers didn't talk to, and I might canvass also for that.
Did you do that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
And were you successful in collecting surveillance video from surrounding houses?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
The defendant's home, was the surveillance system on his home, was it operational?
No.
Okay. Speaking of the defendant, again, just for record purposes, I'm gonna fast forward and then I'll come back. When an individual gets arrested for an offense and then booked at the Bexar County Jail, do they have to get assigned a unique identification number?
Yes, ma'am. That's called a SID number.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you please tell the members of the jury what Mr. Prado's SID number was when he was put in the jail?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. His SID number is 925624.
Thank you. Okay, so you talked to witnesses at the scene. You said the term witness officers. Who in this case were considered witness officers to this incident?
Well, in this incident, it's going to be the officers that were actually assisting, that actually went in there and helped out Officer Swain and Officer Viscar.
Okay, so that was Officer Reitmeyer, Deason, and Saver?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so how are those officers treated differently than the other officers that we've seen on the video that come in to assist and clear the house and take him into custody and things like that?
Just because like they're part of the overall incident. They're right there. They're kind of seeing what's going on. They're actually hearing shots. They're directly related to the incident. That's why they were brought downtown to give statements.
And that's what I was gonna say. So they give statements as opposed to like writing reports.
Yeah, yes, and they go downtown and they give actually a statement to a detective. We'll assign a detective to them downtown at headquarters, and they'll provide a statement there.
And the other officers who assist in again, taking the defendant in custody and clearing the house and collecting evidence, things of that nature, assisting with talking to witnesses. Do they write reports?
Yes, ma'am, they write reports, but they'll write like a supplement report, so they'll actually type out their own supplement report and submit it with the case.
Okay. And as far as talking to the neighbors, do you recall who you were able to, I guess, kind of in the immediate vicinity? You were able to identify Anthony Casares as a witness, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And Joshua Royale?
Yes, ma'am.
And after collecting all of this evidence and talking to these witnesses and trying to identify who has the most pertinent and relevant information, what do you do next, I guess?
After I was going through getting video, I'm making sure like everything's gonna get collected that we need. Obviously, the night detectives did a great outstanding job. They, had already got a warrant worked on for the house. Again, they even helped canvass. I think a couple of the night detectives even took, statements for me out there with people that couldn't come downtown. And I'm just making sure all that is, there. I'm getting organized. I'm collecting all that, making sure I get all the information from them as well. And just like I said, I'm overseeing, just until everything's cleared with the CSI unit, that everything's collected that we need to get it collected.
And then when you go downtown, do you sit down and kind of try to absorb it all?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So when I get back, I'll talk to the officers who the detectives who had took statements from the officers, from the AP, the suspect. And just, I try to gather everything, put everything together and try to get organized. Sometimes there can be a lot of stuff that we got to put together.
And is part of your job as being the lead investigator in this incident, being from not just telling people what to do and collecting evidence, but being familiar with the evidence?
Yes, ma'am.
And why do you need to be familiar with all of the evidence?
We just got to know, what part that stuff played and everything in the case. So yeah, it's important to be familiar with all the evidence in the case, just so we know. It's like it's like a puzzle you're putting together, and we just got to be able to view everything and place it in its proper content. Are
you going to be the one who ultimately makes the decisions if the officer's use of their weapon was justified?
It's my input is in there, but like I said, we have the incident commander, we also have the sergeants, and we also have like lieutenants that we will all get together and we'll talk about, especially on officer involved shootings. And
then if anybody needs to be charged with a crime, as in this case, is that your decision?
In this case, this came out, this was a decision I made, but again, the unit as a whole, generally on an officer involved shooting, get together and we'll talk about all the details of the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can't make your recommendation or make that decision if you don't know all of the evidence, correct?
Yes, ma'am, correct.
So in this case, did the defendant, Mr. Prado, did he give an interview?
Yes, ma'am, he did.
And have you watched that interview in its entirety?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I have.
And did that interview play a significant role in your decision to ultimately charge him with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon to public service?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
May I approach? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Detective, I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 114. Do you recognize 114?
Yes, ma'am.
Is State's Exhibit 114 a fair and accurate copy of the interview of the defendant, Jesus Prado?
Yes.
We'd offer into evidence State's Exhibit 14.
Defense would like to offer it as well.
All right, and it states Exhibit 114.
I'm sorry, 114, yes.
All right, states Exhibit 114 is admitted without objection.
May I publish?
Yes.
All right, Detective Soto, how long does the video appear to be?
Video here looks like it's cut off over here. I can't.
Oh.
Yeah, 4 hours and 50 minutes.
Okay, we're not going to watch 4 hours and 50 minutes. Is he talking for 4 hours and 50 minutes?
No, ma'am, he's not.
So for efficiency purposes, I'm going to fast forward to the beginning of his interview.
Okay. And you officer.
Yeah, I thought they're gonna go straight right there.
No, wait a minute, I won't. Thank you, so much. Oh. We're short, man. Yeah.
Sometimes he don't be right with you. Yeah.
Thank you, so here again. Oh.
Hey, let me have your full name and date of birth.
This was probably Detective Martinez, 21783.
Okay, step them up, get over to the police department. Hey, before you get started, I need to read you something. And what I'd like to do is read you this, get some information from you, let's talk about what's going on, what that'll tell and stuff.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
It's warning to rescue your suspect. Before you ask any questions, my duty as a police officer to advise you of your rights and warn you of the consequences of waiving your rights. You have a right to remain silent. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You do not have to make any statement, oral or written to anyone. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Any statement that you make will be used in evidence against you in a court of law at your trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You have a right to have a lawyer present to advise you before and during any questioning by police officers or attorneys representing the state. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You may have your own lawyer present, or if you're unable to employ a lawyer, the court will appoint your lawyer free of charge now or at any other time. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If you decide to talk with anyone, you can, and you can stop talking to them at any time you want. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The above rights or continued rights which can be urged by you in any stages of proceedings. You understand the rights I just read to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me get your full name. Excuse me.
Who's problem? Jesus había problem. Middle name, no. Había spelled AVIEL.
AVIEL.
Sir, that's my problem.
Okay, and where do you live in that region?
623.
Can I call you?
Yes, sir. Just here, call me just
Okay.
my last name problem.
Okay, so you're
Just gonna pause it for a second. We've heard the defendant refer to this individual as Detective Martinez. While he's interviewing the defendant, are you out doing investigative things?
Yes, ma'am. At this time, I was still at the scene when he's interviewing him.
Okay, so he's assisting you
He
essentially.
he was one of the detectives that assisted me. Yes, ma'am.
Is he still actively with SAPD?
No, ma'am. He retired.
you're not by Jesse.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hey, Jesse, where do you live at right now?
6239, I thought, but
Where's that?
it's right beside the Fox Run Elementary School.
What side of town? I'm not familiar.
Wetmore.
Oh, okay.
You know, 490 Nostrils.
That's a nice area.
Yes, sir.
What's your zip code?
78247. Work my ass off. You well, man.
Yes, sir. And what's a good phone number for you?
210-323-7325, and that's simple, that right now.
Okay. And your date of birth?
21783.
And how old are you?
40.
40. And do you know your driver's license number?
03003-113. Class A CBL.
And social?
455-615236.
Okay. And where do you work at?
Modeli's Global. Better known as Nabisco.
Okay. And what do you do there?
I'm a combo stock handler, Class A driver.
And what's the address there?
1001 Assembly Circle, Church, Texas. Not sure the that's a code up there.
Okay. Do you have an email address?
Jesse Prado 2005 at yahoo.com. JESSB GRAGO 2005 at yahoo.com.
Okay. And are you married? Legally married?
Yes, legally speaking.
Your wife's name?
Monet.
Oh, that one. And nearest relative or somebody we contact in case we need.
Man, I don't remember their numbers.
But who is
On my phone. Jamie Rodriguez.
and who is Jamie to you?
She's my sister. That's the one person I want to talk to right now.
Okay. Sister, do you know where she lives at?
And from my life.
Right.
Going through a divorce, man.
Okay.
Well, I had to prepare.
Okay.
And she asked me for a divorce 10 months ago.
Okay.
Went to therapy. I'm doing good. She left the house. Fucking kids. And now she wants the fucking house. And she went to the house, we were arguing. Called the police. I was gonna go out there and talk to them. And they took tactical positions on me. And upset me.
Okay.
Went upstairs, grabbed my rifle. And shot the first officer to my left with a shotgun. The next officer ran from the second squad car to the first one, shot at him at the run. And then they started firing back at me. They started doing cover fire, retreating, and running back towards my neighbors. I didn't shoot at them because they had their backs to me. I honestly think my neighbor helped them. Consider thinking, man, he's a good dude. They ran to Josh's house, my other neighbor. He helped them. Next two officers that showed up at the wrong house. They also had their backs to me, so I did not shoot them. Next four officers come, coming down the street. Could have shot them too, and that's when I had a shake to heart. You know, I didn't mean to do this. You know, the fight wasn't with him. And yeah, told my wife to come out, to myself, man. Walked out.
Right. Hey, Tiffy, how long you been married?
We've been together 21 years. Married a little over 10.
Any children?
Oh,
Boys or?
one boy, disabled veteran. And 3 daughters.
Yeah. The branch that serves you.
My son.
I got a son named too. Well, when did y'all's trouble start? And did they just start recently or have it been going on?
About a year ago.
About a year ago?
Went to therapy, I fucked up.
And
Lots of cold.
when this happened a year ago, did y'all decide to try and make it work or how did
She moved her mom, since she doesn't want to go.
But you said you were going to therapy by yourself?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
there for the mom, and then
So she moved to her mom's?
she just.
The kids too, or just
The 2 younger ones, the one is daughter, and she's been with me. And that's what was it. My youngest one, I picked him up from school, and she picks him up after work. And my youngest daughter was saying she wanted to spend more time with me, and she was calling her off. And part of the stuff.
okay? So starting from the morning today, did you go to work?
Right now,
Okay, you were at home
yes.
by yourself, or who was with you?
Yeah, by myself.
By yourself.
I think I did.
Okay. And what did you do in the morning?
To my daughter's school.
Okay. What's her name?
Madison.
Madison. Same Madison.
Mm-hmm.
And what's her date of birth?
November 8th. I believe it's 2004.
And where did she go to school?
At Madison High School.
Okay. That's you dropped her off about what time?
4-8.
And then did you go back home, or did you go run errands, or what did you do?
Yeah, I just ran some errands and got home.
What time did you get home?
Probably my girls came out of school about 2:40.
Okay.
Took them to the movies, go watch the Barbie movie.
Okay. And who showed up at your house? Madison and Books.
What do you mean, sir?
Because you said right before the kids got out? Was it Madison and somebody else or just Madison that you took them? That went to your.
Oh, my two younger ones, I took them to the movies.
Okay, and who was it?
My two younger ones are 8 and 7. They're McKinley Sue, and then
McKinley Sue, do you know her date of birth?
McKinley is October 17th. Just their birthday. Should have won.
October 17th of what year?
And she just turned 9.
Okay. And how do you spell Malay?
MALY.
And so do you know her date of birth?
August.
That's okay, she said it. Okay, so they, correct me if I'm wrong, they show up about 2:30 after school, and then you take us.
About 3. So
Okay. Okay. And you take them to the movies for it.
we can't do. We want to see the Barney movie, so it's already like going away from theaters. So we went to the Animal Quarry to go watch it.
Do you know what time the movie started?
It started at 3:50.
And what time did it finish?
About an hour and a half later. About 5:30, so 5:45. We were back at Dallas by 6. 6.
Okay, so when you got there back to the house, what did y'all do?
My wife was there waiting for us.
She was already there? Okay, and what kind of car did she drive?
She just bought she just got that deal on a 2020 Hyundai Santa Fe. She just wrecked her gas car and totaled it.
Okay, so she was there, was she parked in the driveway or was she parked in the road? Okay. Okay, and what kind of car were you driving?
I drive my sister's car right now
Okay.
because I've been selling all my belongings with how I want.
Right.
I drive my sister's 2005 Chevrolet.
What color is it?
And it's maroon, and I got my motorcycle as well as a scooter on it.
Okay. So when you got there, and do you park in the driveway or where do you park?
Part of the driveway.
Driveway, okay. When you get there, you park in the driveway, and does your wife come up to you, or do y'all go inside, or what happens there?
Well, she started running with the kids, and
Okay.
I just stay out there. And, my little girl, always wants kicking and screaming. She called her off.
Do you want to stay with you?
She's already that way, but she wants to be with her.
Okay. And you stay outside the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you in the driveway, in the front yard, in front of the house? Okay. And she's just basically pulling the girls to the car, to her car.
We started already outside.
Okay. And how did the argument go? The best you can remember.
I just turned her, I wanted her to come home and work it out, and just go inside.
And what did she say? No, yes.
Yeah, she said no.
And then what happened from there? Did she hit you or did you hit her? Did you act out? Okay. Did you act out in any way or did she?
Yeah, I acted out.
What did you do?
I told her I want to bring the fucking house down.
Okay. Did you do anything?
Yeah, I was supposed to get us around, but
Did you have something to light it with?
yeah, I did, but I didn't.
What did you have?
Propane.
Okay. So did you go in the garage and get it or was it in the car already?
It's in the garage.
Okay. So you went in there and got it and then where'd you pour the gas?
Just right there in the garage. Over the concrete.
Okay. And is that when she called the police or she called?
That's when she started calling.
Okay. And what did you hear her tell the dispatcher?
They started my house.
Okay. All right. And after she did that, did you stay there? Did you go inside the house or what happened?
I went inside the house.
Okay. And where did you go when you went inside the house?
I just stayed downstairs.
Living room, garage, kitchen, where were you?
Just there in the room, just looking outside.
Okay. And what did you see?
Uh, I thought she had drove away,
Okay.
and then I think she put it into a neighbor's house.
So she got in the car with the kid and you saw the car drive off?
Yes.
Okay.
And then, she pulled into the neighbor's house.
You know what name?
Yes, it was, Carol's house, which is 3 houses down.
You know where that's in?
No, I don't.
Okay.
And she pulled into hers. She put into her driveway, and that's whenever she like got off and I started walking towards the house, and then that's whenever I saw the cop car drive up.
Okay. And you're still in the living room?
Yes.
You see the cop car drive up. Where does the cop car go? Where does it stop?
Right there in front of the house.
Right in front of your house?
Yes.
Okay. Then was your wife walking toward the police or could you see her?
Yeah, she was walking like towards them,
Okay.
and then they like met her, and then they like ushered her towards the car, and then that's whenever they came back to their car,
Okay.
and I thought they would come to my door and talk to me, but they got off with the shotgun.
Okay. And then what did you do then?
That's when I grabbed my rifle and I ran upstairs.
Where'd you get the rifle from?
I keep it downstairs.
What kind of?
It's AR-15, about 6.
Is that the only one you grabbed?
Yes.
Okay. And you went upstairs to whose room?
My oldest daughter's room. Which is at the big window.
And the big window faces the street?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you do once you were up there?
Whenever I got up there, I just look out the window, and that's whenever that also the shotgun is and like by taking cover like by the neighbor's car, pointing the gun towards the house.
Okay. Was the gun already loaded? Yours? You keep it loaded in the house, or did you?
No, I
did you?
keep it loaded.
So you loaded it once you're in the room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you racked around in there?
Yeah, I just dropped the door.
Okay. And so he's by his car,
By the neighbor's car.
by the neighbor's car, and he's got some type of rifle,
I believe it's shot.
a shotgun. Okay. And you say he's pointed towards the house. What did you do?
I took him down
Take okay.
and fired 2 shots at him.
Okay. Did you open the window or you shot through the window?
Shot through the window.
Okay. And did you hit him when you shot?
I'm not sure if I shot him. I'm not sure if I hit him.
Okay.
I heard him say go fuck,
Okay.
and I dropped 2 rounds on him, and that's whenever
You dropped 2 rounds. You fired 2 rounds.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's whenever I
I'm gonna pause the video real quick at 1 hour, 9 minutes and 43 seconds. Detective, have you watched the surveillance video in Officer Casara's body cam from this incident?
Yes.
The defendant here is saying that he fired twice at Officer Viscara. Is that true?
No, he fired more than that.
put my attention on the other officer.
Where was the other officer?
He was on the second squad car
Okay. And where was that?
behind the first.
Okay. And you shot at the guy, the first one that arrived twice, and then you turned your attention to this guy. Where was he?
He was in his squad car running towards the next one.
Okay. And did you shoot at him?
Yes, shot at him.
Okay. With the AR or with another rifle?
No, with the
Okay. Is that the only one you used?
rifle he used.
Okay. And you shot at him how many times?
I don't recall.
Once, twice,
About 3.
3 times?
Yes, sir.
Did you hit?
Is that true?
No, he fired more rounds than that.
I believe I did get him.
Okay. And then what happened?
That's whenever they started returning fire.
Okay.
And they got together and they're returning fire and retreating.
Okay. Did you stay at the window or did you back up or?
Stay at the window.
Okay. And when they were returning fire, did they hit close to you or?
Yeah, there's going to the window and hitting the wall.
Okay. And did you shoot any more after that?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I shot 2 more times on White's car.
Okay,
Towards the engine block,
okay.
and that was when we fired at it.
And more officers were showing up, but you didn't shoot at them.
And no, I did not shoot at them. Okay. Like I said, the first officer showed up at the open house. Yeah, they ran to me and I didn't shoot at them. And then the next 4 officers came around from the hill and to the window, second story house. And I didn't shoot at him. That's when I had to change the heart.
Okay. And these officers that are showing up, because we have different units, these were like fully marked police cars?
I didn't see their vehicle. They were coming running from down the street.
Okay. But they're in police uniform?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you knew they were police officers?
Yes, I knew they were police.
And you intentionally shot?
The first 2 years.
Okay. Okay. Then you said you had to change your heart. What happened?
You stayed up, man. You just had a chance, wasn't fair. It wasn't fair.
Okay. So after you had to change your heart, did you walk back downstairs or did you stay upstairs?
I yelled at him too when the officer come out.
Okay. Did you put down your rifle or did you take?
I left my rifle upstairs.
Okay.
And then I walked downstairs and I yelled out to the door that was facing me come out.
Okay. You came out through the front door?
Yes, I came out through the front.
What happened after that?
Got me straight again. Yeah, said come out, hands up, and pick up my shirt, all his commands.
Okay. Did you walk all the way to the street?
Pretty much all the way to the curb.
Okay. And then you were in the street when they took you into custody?
In my front yard.
In front yard? Okay. And then they placed you in a police car?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any other weapons on you at that time?
No, just my rifle. There is other guns in the house, but I just have my rifle.
Okay. When you and your wife argued, did it escalate to the point where she made any kind of threats or you made any kind of threats to
No,
her?
I didn't make no threats towards her. I just told her no.
Did she threaten you in any kind of way?
No, no, she.
Hey, let me go check on a few things and I'll be back. You need some water or something to drink?
I appreciate the water.
Yeah, let me get some water. Cold or warm?
Cool.
Okay. Be right back.
Thank you.
I'm gonna pause the video at 1 hour, 13 minutes and 57 seconds. At this point, detective, what was the defendant's explanation for why he decided to shoot at those officers?
He said that they came at him wrong, like in the, I guess the way they approached the house.
What was it about their approach that he didn't like?
That they approached tactically.
With
He
what?
didn't like that. They were armed. They had the rifles and they were approaching kind of tactically at his house.
And what was the word he used early as far as whether he felt? Did he ever say he felt threatened
No, I did not hear him say
up
that.
until this point?
Right.
Has he ever, up until this point in the video, has he said he felt scared?
No, ma'am. No.
What did he say? Do you recall the word that he used?
I think he said upset. I remember he upset him, I guess.
And up until this point, has he said at what point he decided that he needed to use his rifle on the officers?
It was when they were setting up around his house. is when
With
they-
their rifles,
With their
right?
rifles. Once he saw they had their rifles, they were approaching the house. That's when he decided to use force.
In your evaluation of the evidence, did you learn that he did or said anything that was inconsistent with the timing of his decision? That he,
No. They said anything,
no, what I'm getting at is he says to you guys in the interview,
right?
I was gonna come out and talk to them until they pulled out their rifles.
Yes, ma'am. He did. That was inconsistent. He did say that. Yes.
What was inconsistent in the terms of like what you found in your investigation? What did he do or say that was inconsistent with him saying that?
There were a couple big things. One, that he had actually got the magazines from his car, or one of the things, he got the magazines from his car after learning, that the officers were on the way and that his wife called the police. And also on the 911 call from Monet, you can hear him say, I'm gonna shoot it out with the police.
And at that time, the 911 call, and when he pulled the magazines out of the back of his car, the police hadn't even arrived yet, had they?
No, they hadn't arrived yet,
He
no.
hasn't seen anybody pull out any rifles yet, had he?
Correct, correct.
I'm gonna resume the video when the detective comes back in at 21 hours and 42 minutes. And then back in.
There, you mean problems with diagrams and get a better understanding? Like, you draw your house, like, then where the cars were, the officer window, where's the left?
There's a color say,
So what's this street right here? That's your street name?
well, my
Or this is,
this little color say,
Okay.
I'm not sure the streets.
okay,
Amistad and Puerto, I believe,
okay, where's your house?
you know, it's right here.
Okay. Just, can you put your name, okay,
And, my neighbor's house, Eddie,
just put it in, but
which is, he did like a stroke, he's in a wheelchair.
older dude? Oh,
Or,
Yeah.
And then my brother, we go to church together, here, the Browns. And then Carol's house. And then, I've been letting him borrow a motorcycle because he's getting a motorcycle license. Anyways, that's what the officers ran.
okay.
Yeah, too.
Like, when, where was your, or where did the officers park at when he came to your house?
Bro was right here and, John's right here. So,
That's the front?
yeah,
Okay,
and then my two neighbors had their cars right here.
okay. And where did the second officer park?
Parked behind.
Okay. And when he got out, right, or where did your wife meet him, like, where,
My wife was over there.
okay,
I saw her pulled in,
okay,
and then she pulled in. She started walking towards the house,
okay,
and that's when I realized the officer was parked in front of my house,
okay.
and they started walking towards her.
And where did they meet her, like in the cul-de-sac, more over here, or
Pretty much in
the middle? Okay, and did they stand there in the middle and talk?
No, they like go straight back into the Carol's room.
Okay. And then about how long did they talk?
Not even 30 seconds.
Okay, and then what did the officers do?
They walked back to the car.
Okay.
And got off the shelter.
Okay, and this officer, he got a shotgun, where was he standing with the shotgun?
He got a shotgun and he started walking this way.
Okay. Was he standing behind something or in the
He
street?
started walking this way, and
Okay.
then whenever I ran upstairs,
Okay,
and when I got upstairs, looked out the window, he was in a tactical position right here behind the car,
okay,
aiming towards my house.
okay. And that's when you fired twice?
It's fired at him.
Okay. And did you hit him? Do you remember?
I mean, I aimed towards his chest,
Okay,
towards his ribs.
okay.
Is he
And
okay?
you fired twice, and then he runs which way after you shoot?
I didn't see where he went,
Okay,
because this officer ran this way.
okay. And you said you focused on him?
Yeah, so I turned around towards him and I shot him in the run.
While he was running, you shot?
Yeah.
And
He was running towards his car.
And with him, were you aiming for his chest also?
Just over torso.
Torso? Okay,
And the trees right there too.
okay. So
The tree.
you're aiming at his torso and you shot about 3 times. Okay, where did you see where he ended up?
Behind his car.
Okay,
And then also started shooting.
okay. You know about how many times he shot?
Oh, that's not a lot.
He shot both of them, or just this guy?
I heard a shotgun and a pistol.
Okay. About how many times do you think they shot? Yeah.
Because they were shooting and moving from car to car back in the,
They backed up over here? Where did they back up?
all the way to James' car.
Okay.
James' house.
I'm gonna pause the video real quick. Detective, as part of your investigation in an incident like this, is it your responsibility to identify and verify which officers actually discharged their weapons?
Yes, ma'am.
And in this case, what was determined as far as whether Officer Swain ever discharged his weapon?
It was determined that Officer Swain did not fire his weapon.
So the only SAPD officer that fired a weapon in this incident was Officer Viscara.
Yes, ma'am.
May I approach the? I'm approaching the witness, right?
Yes.
Detective Soto, I'm gonna hand you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 115 for identification purposes. Is State's Exhibit 115 a fair and accurate copy of the diagram that the defendant is drawing in his interview right now?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll offer into evidence State's Exhibit 115, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection.
Right, State's Exhibit 115 is admitted without objection.
May I call?
Yes.
Now, I know you weren't the detective in the interview room with him, so I'm not gonna ask you to orient what the different things are on this diagram. I just wanted to give it to the jury since he's doing it on video in front of them in case they want to see it.
Okay.
And I'll resume the video.
James?
I believe it's James.
Okay. Would you say more than 10 shots?
Sure.
More than 20?
I'll put it around there. 20.
About
A
20?
little bit of 20.
Okay. And you said when they went this way, they had the backs to you?
Yeah, every time I look out the window, they have prepared to me.
Okay. And the other officers, had they shown up already?
No.
Okay. So they had the backs to you and you didn't shoot any?
That's right.
And then how long did it take for the other officers to show up?
Minutes.
Minutes?
Yeah.
5, 10, 15?
I'll say 5.
5? And when they show up, about how many show up? Do you know?
2 officers with 1 car.
Okay. And where did they stop?
They stopped right here.
Okay.
And they took technical position behind these 2 cars, aiming towards James' house.
Okay. Did you have a line of sight on them?
Correct. But they had the back towards me.
Okay. And that's why you didn't shoot?
Correct.
Let me ask you this, just if they would have been facing you, would you have shot?
At this point, no. I was already off fucked up, and I shouldn't have done that.
Okay. When these guys, if they had backed up, was facing you, would you have shot them?
If they would be shooting at me. Yeah, I'll say I would.
Okay.
So it was a fight.
I'm gonna pause the video. He said if the officers at this point would have turned around and been shooting at him, he would have shot at them.
Correct.
Would they have been justified in shooting at him?
If he's fired, then yes, ma'am, they will be justified shooting back.
Okay. Did you ever hear the officer say anything?
No,
Did you ever yell out anything to the officers while you were firing?
no. Whenever this officer, when I shot him, he just said, I'm giving no shit.
Okay.
I believe about him in the army. Did I?
Yes, I believe so.
Did I get him in the vest?
I think you got him in the leg.
Is he okay?
I think, I don't know for sure, but I think they're both gonna be okay.
In the leg?
I think so. I'd have to recheck on that. You know what I mean?
In the leg.
I'd have to recheck.
Okay.
It could be something different, right? I just got initial stuff and stuff changes, you know, and I haven't been able to talk to the officers or whatever, right? And I haven't talked to the detective that's on the scene, so it could be somewhere else.
They were stopped.
Detective for that, or what do you think they did wrong?
First of all, they approached me wrong.
What do you mean by that?
They just took tactical position right away. I don't know what wrong I told them what. And that's what upset me. Like I said, I was about to walk out the house and talk to them.
And again, detective, him saying I was about to walk out the house and talk to them, is that inconsistent with him grabbing the magazine and saying he's gonna be in a shootout?
Yes, ma'am. Consistent, yes, ma'am.
And him saying that they were sloppy and their tactics were horrible. Did he tell y'all that he has any relevant experience whatsoever to be able to hold an opinion on the tactical decision-making of San Antonio police officers?
No,
No military service.
no, I think he said he was in the military, I think. I'm not
Okay.
sure. I could be wrong,
We'll
yeah,
keep watching.
okay.
What do you imagine your wife said to him?
Sir,
What do you think your wife said to him?
he has guns in the house.
Have you ever like displayed them like in a bad way or shot in the yard or anything like that? You prior service or anything?
No, sir. No.
Okay. Does he have any prior service experience?
No,
You're good with guns?
Yes, sir. I played rifles.
Oh, okay.
I played a lot of paintball.
Okay.
So his entire wealth of knowledge on the tactical decision-making of police officers is based in paintball?
yeah, balls and he builds guns. And I apologize, I think it was because I heard him talk about his son earlier as well.
No, that's
in the
okay.
Army.
We're used to it.
Okay. Let me check on a few more things and see if I can get an update on these officers and I'll come back, okay? You doing good? You go rush or anything?
Not yet.
Okay.
All right, detective, I'm pausing the video at 1:31:20. After this, is there any more conversation?
I think that's it with Detective Martinez.
So at the conclusion of his interview, again, does he ever say that he felt threatened by the officers?
No, ma'am.
Does he ever say he felt scared?
No, ma'am.
He says he was upset.
Upset, yes.
And when he's reciting his version of what happened to Detective Martinez, does he ever make reference to the text messages that he exchanged with Monette that you collected from her cell phone?
I don't think he does, you know.
And so he doesn't let Detective Martinez know that he was telling Monette he wanted to burn the house down, or telling Monette about possibly holding a gun to his kid's head.
Correct, that doesn't come up in this interview, no.
So after reviewing, you also reviewed Monette's interview, correct?
Yes, I did.
So you're familiar with her version of what,
Yes,
or her account of how this all started?
yes, ma'am.
After reviewing all of these things, the interviews, the surveillance video, the 911, the body cams, did you and the team that you referenced earlier when you talked about investigating OIS cases, did you all determine that Officer Swain and Viscara used appropriate tactics in how they handled the situation?
Yes.
And outside of that investigation, because an officer discharged their weapon, is there an internal affairs element to this as well?
Yes, internal affairs will get involved in any officer involved shooting.
And did internal affairs approve of all of their decision making as far as how they handled it until he started shooting at them?
Yes, they, as far as I know, they approved everything they did.
So being the lead investigator in this case, you're also charged with being aware and again, familiar with all of the physical evidence that was collected in this case.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you're familiar with the rifle that the defendant used?
Yes.
And do you have training with firearms given your role here at SAPD?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of training do you have to go through to be, I guess, allowed to carry a firearm and use weapons like a rifle on the job?
For the regular proficiency training at the academy with our handguns, and then if you are allowed to carry, if you put in the carry rifle and you carry it, you have to do like a yearly training to qualify with that rifle to use it.
Okay. And what is I guess the number one rule that whether you're a police officer or just a gun owner, that you are taught when it comes to pointing a loaded firearm at anything, let alone a human being?
The way we look at it at the academy, especially during training, is never point your weapon at anything you're not willing to destroy. It's kind of the term we use.
Okay. So pointing it and pulling the trigger, even,
Correct.
you have to be prepared.
People
For that type of-
but don't even point it, like if you're not willing to destroy something, don't point your weapon like that at anything you're not willing to destroy. It's a gun safety thing.
I want to ask you a question about State's Exhibit 76. Is there an item affixed to State's Exhibit 76?
Yes, ma'am, it looks like it's a scope.
And what does this scope do for an individual who's wielding this weapon?
It assists with accuracy of the weapon.
Now, we talked about how many times the defendant said he shot at these officers, which when you watch the video, what can you determine as far as how many shots he's fired?
He's fired more than I think he said he fired 7 total shots. He fired 2 at the car, so he fired more than that. Just from hearing this from the video and also from processing the scene.
Because of the speed of his firing, can you guesstimate how many times you hear his gun go off?
At least 16, 17 times. I'm thinking, but there's a lot of, is other guns being
It's
put.
going fast, right? Okay. The shell casings that were recovered from inside of his home, inside of the room where he was shooting from, you recall how many you collected?
I believe it was 16, 17,
16 or
17, yeah.
And have you seen the firearms report that came back from the Bear County Crime Lab regarding those 17 shell casings?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
I guess I should back up. The shell casings and the firearm were sent to the Bear County Crime Lab to be tested against each other. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's just to verify that those 17 shell casings came from that rifle.
Yes.
And did they?
Yes, they did.
Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about your job description because your job is more all-encompassing than just arresting people that commit ag assaults or I guess also police officers, like you investigate police shootings in particular as one of your particular aspects that you have to do.
Yes, sir.
And so that involves like potentially deciding whether police can commit crimes on occasions, right? That's one of your responsibilities, right?
Yes, sir.
Certainly cases where people may fire on police officers, that's in your jurisdiction of duties, right?
Yes, sir.
Now you also have to deal with mental health cases when they escalate as well, right?
If they escalate into like a officer involved shooting or a homicide, yes, sir.
And so, I mean, you have training and you know that when somebody is not right in the head, whether it be mental illness, brain injury, depression, psychosis, things like that, it creates a dangerous dynamic, especially when guns are in the equation either way, right? Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir, I do agree with that. It's very dangerous.
Because when, admittedly, like you and I today are very unlikely to do something, this egregious to anybody, right? Just normal people, normal days don't do this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, you would think normal people that are in their right state of mind aren't gonna do something like this.
Now, like, to be fair, I mean, some basic things that you know about Mr. Prado is that at 40 years old, back 2 years ago, 0 criminal history, right? 0.
Yes, sir, yes.
And his first arrest was a really big one, right?
Yes, sir, it's like going from 0 to 100, yeah.
And now as a detective, you want to be fair to the prosecution, but you also want to be fair to a defendant and at least give him a fair shot of just honesty, investigation, considering all different possibilities. I mean, that as a detective, it's not just, hey, let's just bury this guy in the ground. You want to get as much information as you can to give a whole picture of somebody, right?
Yeah, I believe it's fair to get for the investigation, for the whole process to get as much information. I believe so, yes, sir.
Because, I mean, just from your duties as a police officer, when you've investigated mental health shootings, a lot of times you just don't know what's going on in somebody's head because you're not a medical professional, you're not a doctor, you don't know what's going on necessarily through your own experience as a detective. Would you agree with that?
Yes, these the mental health cases are very hard cases sometimes to deal with. I mean, it's hard to predict what someone's gonna do sometimes, especially depending on this family violence type situation or family situation, going through a divorce. Sometimes people just can't handle stuff like that.
Monette used the word snapped when she talked about this. Do you remember that was at least an issue in a case like this, whether somebody has snapped?
I mean, I can't remember exactly if she did say that. She might have. But yeah, people just sometimes you just don't know what's gonna send them over the edge. It's hard to say. Some are different than others.
Okay. Now, all right, I guess if we're going to talk about the statement a little bit, would you agree with me that the way Jesse lays out the timing of everything, according to your investigation, I mean, everything he says is virtually factually true, except for a few little like numbers, mostly, I guess. As far as how the police drove up, where they were positioned in the drawing, Officer Viscara, talked to Monette. Then he went and he put on his military vest, his heavy vest, and he got his rifle. And then he was going to take a position where he was armed with a rifle, towards Jesse's house. I mean, that's how he described it pretty much exactly, right?
Yeah, looking at his interview, yes, a lot of the stuff he said, was consistent with what happened at the scene. He did, like I said, the numbers of the shooting, obviously was off on how many times he fired. But I think it was, it's important, like, he did leave out the part about, grabbing the magazines.
Well, okay, let me stop you and ask you about that one, because that was the point that Melissa made. You don't know if those were the magazines that he used, because there were several magazines for an AR-15 inside the house.
There was a lot of ammunition stuff in the house and a lot of magazines, yes, sir.
Right, so, I mean, are you telling this jury, that 2 clips he may have grabbed out of the Trailblazer are the ones he used in his rifle? Or could it have been the clip that was already in the rifle in his house?
So I can't say for sure that the clips he grabbed out of the Trailblazer were the ones that he brought upstairs. I can't tell you that for sure. I just know that just based on the totality of everything, making the statement that, when officers get there, he's gonna shoot.
Well, and that comment came from Monette specifically, because like another thing, again, like sometimes like you're a detective on a lot of cases, right?
Yes, sir.
And so detectives report in cases like this tend to be pretty voluminous, right?
Yes, sir. We have a lot of information.
Like if this was a DWI arrest, it'd probably be a 2-page report, and that's all you got to remember. But on a police shooting, I guess our binders are about this thick from all the paper in this case. Is that about right?
They're bigger than the average, yes, sir.
Okay. Because like you said in the 911 call, it is heard that Jesse says he's going to have a shootout with the police. If I tell you the 911 call does not say Jesse's going to have or Jesse saying I'm going to have a shootout with the police, that's not in there.
I might not have said it right verbatim, but if I recall correctly, at about 2 minutes and 30 seconds into her phone call, you can hear him in the background state something to the effect of, it might not, if they come at me, I'm gonna shoot it out with them. Something to that effect. I'm pretty 100% confident that's in there.
Okay, well, all right. I mean, that's introduced into evidence, but like, just to clarify, like with Melissa, I wrote it down. You said in the 911 call, he says he's going to have a shootout with the police. It might not be like that in that 911 call.
Yes, sir. Like, it might not be that verbatim, but he does state in there. I remember, like I said, about 2 minutes, 30 seconds in, he does say, you can hear it. I'm gonna shoot it out. I can't tell if he says, if they come at me, I can't tell if I'm just gonna shoot it out, but you can hear it on there. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, again, the prosecutor in the case stopped the video when Jesse says that he thought he shot at Vizcarra 2 times. Certainly when you review the video, okay, you can hear that. All right, that's a weapon like this being fired at rapid pace, right?
Yes.
Now, these guns are designed to where they can be fired. A shot fires every time you pull the trigger. And like Vizcarra was telling us that he could tell the difference. And tell me if you agree with this. When a police officer shoots that weapon, he says he tries to be more deliberate, and it's pa, 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 where you're controlling the aim. That's a police training thing. And that's one of the things he can hear differently. Is that what you understand it to be?
So I can't testify to that with Officer Vizcarra. I never was trained. I never carried a rifle on duty. So that might be something that he might have learned. They might have taught him that in his class, maybe.
Okay. But as somebody who has dealt with many cases where shooting is involved,
Yes.
would you agree that witnesses, people that give statements, people that get shot, that they miss the number of times shots are fired, like many more times than they get it right? Would you agree? It's just the number is almost always inaccurate on some level?
Yes, I mean, it's because in that moment, there's like, there's a lot of, very stressful situations. And yes, you can be off on the numbers. Yes, sir.
Okay. And like, for example, you had talked with Officer Deason, right?
Yes, sir.
Like in his statement in your prosecutor, I think he says he heard 4 shots when he was getting cover during the recovery efforts. But then when he saw his video, he corrected himself and said it was only 2. Like what he told you or the detectives was inaccurate. And again, he miscounted too, and he's a trained police officer, right? Yes,
sir. I mean, it happens during situations like that. Officers can be off, or you can, you just think you're hearing something. Some officers just, like auditory exclusion on certain things, and sometimes some officers will say they didn't hear anything.
Okay, and like I guess for example, so if I'm just saying, like if the suggestion is he was trying to suggest he shot fewer times than what he really did, you would think he would exaggerate how many times he was shot at by Officer Vizcarra. But in the video, he tells you he thinks Officer Vizcarra, when questioned about it, because he says, I don't really know. But when the detective's kind of like, well, give me a number, he gets to 20, like, yeah, that's about it, 20. But from your report, Officer Vizcarra shot over 60 times at the house.
Yeah, yes, sir, he did.
Right. So, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is when bullets are going off, nobody's counting, right? I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just when bullets are flying, adrenaline gets pumped up. And I guess it seemed like the counting mechanism just kind of goes to the wayward
Yeah, like I said, in a high stressful situation like that, yes, sir, that happens, it does happen.
Okay. Now, in regards to the statement, I'm going to use Jesse's language because several times during this interview, when it gets down to the point of like, what are you doing? He says several times, like, I fucked up. I mean, it's not the most eloquent apology or regret, but you can tell by his demeanor and everything else, he knows he messed up really bad and put himself in this horrible situation. Like you perceive that in that interview, right?
Yes, he understands, the situation he's in, it's pretty clear.
Okay, and then to be fair to Jesse, at first of all, his surrender was as good as it could be from his part for like the circumstance he put himself in. He yelled out, I want to surrender. There were some commands, come to the front door. And they do the commands to where put your hands up, come out backwards, lift your shirt. They did all that stuff with him. He complied with all those commands and was arrested as peacefully as you could be for the situation he got himself in, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. In the video, one of his first questions to the arresting officers that had him in handcuffs was if their brothers were all right or did he hit them?
I knew a couple of times, I remember him saying like, are they okay, or, yeah, it was, I hit him, but I'm pretty sure I think he was pretty confident in his abilities, I think he knew he hit him, for sure.
Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, yeah, I mean, with Swain in particular, I mean, Vizcarra got one in the arm and then dropped for cover. So I guess you could see how you might not know if you got him in that circumstance, right? Because
That instant, yes, he was for sure.
but from the videos that everybody's seen, when Officer Swain ran out into the open, I mean, when he got shot, he dropped there and had to go hide behind his police officer. But by the way he dropped, I guess it would have been obvious to anybody that was in the house. The way he dropped, he was almost assuredly shot, correct?
Yes, correct, I believe he was swinging for sure, I think he was even surprised about where he hit him, because I think when asked about it, I think, he was like, no, it couldn't have been the leg, I think, he said, no way, had to be, because he was aiming center.
Right. And he talks about them wearing vests, but he said he was aiming for their torso where they wear their vest, right?
Yes.
He certainly never said he was taking like headshots. He always said he was aiming for their torso, which is where they have their vest, right?
Correct, he never said anything about any headshots.
Now, did you confirm what he said about how the initial responders would, I guess when there's an officer down call, that's the highest call y'all get. Everybody who's available and close rushes to that scene to protect the police force, correct?
Yes, so you hear something like that as an officer, I mean, you're going all out to try to get there as soon as you can to help out, any injured officers, if there are any injured officers there, yes, sir.
Okay, and so did you do any investigation to what he said as far as being accurate? Because when people drive up to the cul-de-sac, they don't have any information yet. I mean, they have what they've heard on the radio only, and you don't know where somebody is holed up. You don't know where all the danger is from. And so police officers can inadvertently go into complete exposure to somebody who's got bad intentions, right?
Yes, correct, those officers that went there to assist Swain and Vizcarra, to me, like they're heroes, they didn't even like think about their well-being, they were going in to get their brothers out of harm's way.
Yes, and certainly, like I guess you got a statement from I might forget the last names, right? But it's Stover is how he pronounces that, right? Detective?
Yeah, I think he's a sergeant now, but sergeant,
Well,
I think.
yeah, detective at the time, and he's been
Yes.
sergeant since then. I mean, he's the one who initially decided to set up two lower ranking officers to do the extraction, and they did both the extractions and very well and very bravely, correct?
Yeah, yes, sir. Percent.
Now, that's part of my questions because like Officer Deason kind of exposed himself when the sergeant kind of went fast. He was exposed in the street with no more cover because initially he had gotten cover behind the car, but when the sergeant sped up, he was left kind of in the open in the street. right? Did you see
Yeah,
that
yeah,
video?
I recall, I do remember that, watching the body cam, yeah, he was, yeah.
And so I guess my point is like when Jesse's given you his explanation of what was happening, you have to agree during your investigation that there were officers that completely exposed themselves to him. And if he had wanted to do more damage, he could have, right?
Yes, sir, he definitely could have, yes.
And so when you talk about his honesty in the interview, outside of him missing the numbers of the shots, I mean, everything that you can document, well, okay, was this true? Is this true? Is true? Virtually everything he says is true. Like how it went down, the sequence, what Officer Discovery did first, what Jesse did, what Officer Swain did, what Jesse did, where they went, the extraction, who exposed who by these houses, their backs were turned. I didn't do it. I realized I fucked up. I realized my fight wasn't with them. And then he says, I made the choice to surrender. I mean, all of that was true as far as you could tell, right?
I guess, sir, I mean, he was very consistent on details, yes, he paid very close attention to what was going on, and, like I said, he's very, he had some skill with the rifle, because I guess he builds them and he practices with them, so he's pretty confident what he's doing, and was very articulate in how he described everything. Yes, sir.
And so, I mean, I guess the reason I went down that line of questioning is because if there's a suggestion that something in there is a lie, there's all the factual things that you can point to, like these things, was all very straightforward and confirmed by you, right? The story.
Yes, I mean, he was very straightforward with the detective. Yes, I can agree with that.
And to be fair, to his detriment, in that, I mean, he did admit to committing 2 counts of aggravated assault on a peace officer, right? I mean,
Yes, sir.
he basically he confessed to 2 first-degree felonies without asking for a lawyer, without saying, "Hey, I don't want to answer that question." He answered every single question the detective asked him, every single one of them, right?
Yes, sir, he did.
And as far as you can tell, accurately for everything that you could confirm.
Yes, sir.
Now the prosecution seemed to be upset that Jesse had an opinion on tactics. I mean, look, I've never been in the military, never been a police officer. I personally don't really like guns, but I mean, I have opinions on tactics. I mean, I can have opinions on tactics by just what I read or what I see or, whatever. Like an opinion on tactic is not something that's necessarily offensive in and of itself, is it?
I mean, I think the point was that he just, it kind of felt, instead of being more remorseful, he was more like, almost like, I don't want to say, just confident the way he was, laying out everything. Yeah, he did ask if they were okay, but it just came off as a little arrogant about how good he was with the gun. Just, I don't want to say he was bragging, but just, it was just, he wanted the Detective Martinez to know, yeah, how, how good he was at the situation, to point out the mistakes that the officers made.
Okay, well, I can see that interpretation. Like, I guess that's kind of like a prosecution argument. But how about this interpretation too? With like, is it possible? Like, I guess one of the questions we can never know for sure is, but he does say, if they had come and knocked on my door, I would have talked to him. Because again, it's somebody who's never been in trouble before. That may have happened. Like if Monette had not come down the street, because the officers in the videos, like they're going to handle it like a regular call, where you go to the door and knock, and you're cautioned, right? But you go and knock. Hey, can you come out and talk to us? Right? That's the way most of these calls will generally go, right?
In this case, I wouldn't have done that, just based on when they get there, they can smell the gasoline. They talk to Monet, she's very credible.
Hold on, I'm saying like without the Monette stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because like admittedly, when they get there, they're in the front yard, and it looks like they're going to go knock on the door, like they would to like. And I think even the officer said, we separate the parties, find out who said what, and that's the way most of these calls go. when they don't escalate like this, right?
Well, yes, on like a standard call, family violence or whatever type disturbance call. Yes, you're gonna try to separate the parties. You want to try to make contact, obviously, with the person that's in question. Yes, if we're just taking all the stuff Monet set out or any, stuff from the key card that might have said he had weapons, stuff like that, yes, then that would be a way to handle it, yes, sir.
And again, I guess this just goes to the mental health side. I mean, a person could do it because they're evil. A person could do it because they snap. A person could do it because they have a brain injury. I mean, all of those things are possibilities, right?
Yeah, there's some, yes, it's hard to predict, human behavior sometimes, especially in cases where there's, he's going through a divorce, he feels like he's gonna lose his family. I think in the interview, he talked about, now she wants my house. It's almost like that was the breaking point for him. But again, everybody's different, you just don't know.
Well, sure. And that's I guess that's the issue. I mean, everybody, comes to their, to their end with a whole life of experiences. And like I said, your knowledge of him is based 99% on what happened during that 5 or 10 minutes, before the shooting happened, right?
Correct.
I asked this question of Officer Viscara because I don't know if you're this familiar with his body cam. I mean, I assume you are because it's probably the most watched body cam footage we have. But his body cam that he has on, when he, once he decides to put on his big vest and to get his rifle, he puts his AR-15 on the hood, and when he puts it on the hood, it is pointed at the house. I mean, do you agree with Officer Viscara that if a person is in a bad state of mind, they could see having a rifle on a hood pointed at the house as something very aggressive? They could perceive it as that.
On that part, for some reason, I just can't remember where his gun was pointed. I'm sorry, I just don't recall that. But you're asking if someone can interpret that as a threat?
Yes.
I mean, they're officers, they're in full uniform. I mean, he does say he's pro-police. I mean, I don't see why he would feel threatened by the officers.
Well, I guess I thought you were going to agree with that, and I guess I thought so because you did say one of the cardinal rules about officers and their guns is don't point the gun at something you don't want to destroy. Before anything happens, Officer Viscara certainly didn't want to hurt Jesse or Jesse's house or anything like that.
Correct.
Right? I mean,
Yes.
but if his AR-15 on the hood was pointed at the house, I mean that would be in violation of what you told the jury a little while ago.
Well, I guess I don't remember that part. I don't remember his gun being pointed at the house. I'm sorry, I just don't recall that.
Hmm. Those are all my questions for him right now, Judge. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
State.
I have a little bit of redirect here. Detective, I'm gonna try to work backwards from where you left off with defense counsel. Mr. Acevedo asked you if a person who maybe wasn't in their right state of mind could perceive a rifle pointed at their home as an act of aggression. Going back to his interview, did he ever say, I felt like they were threatening me?
No, he did not.
He said he was upset by the, I guess, displaying pulling out of the
Their,
rifle.
like, to me, it was like their approach, them coming, armed, toward the house. And like, it upset him.
When we're talking about how he surrendered, he shot, and we can see this on Officer Vizcarra's body cam. He shot 17 times at least that we know of from shell casing. And there is a difference, I think, in 2 or 3 and 17. Would you agree with that?
Yes, ma'am, there is.
When he shoots, Officer Vizcarra begins returning fire relatively quickly after that second round of gunfire at Officer Swain. Is that correct?
Yes,
And Officer Vizcarra doesn't stop shooting until he's able to retreat, correct?
correct.
So when Officer Vizcarra is shooting at the defendant, I think it stands to reason that he has to hide so he doesn't get shot through the window, correct?
Correct, yeah,
Which would then eliminate him from being able to continue shooting, correct?
correct, yes, ma'am.
And then, as we can see from the body cam and the Coban and surveillance video, the cavalry arrives, correct?
Yes,
And it is only after that point that he chooses to come out and surrender.
yes, after he sees the other officers pulling up, that's when he decides this fight's not with them.
But even then, even after Officer Vizcarra has retreated, he still shoots 2 more times, doesn't he?
Yeah, he shoots that Monet's, I guess the engine.
Well, to be clear, that's what he says.
Right, yes,
Whether that was his intention or not, we don't know.
correct, because that's the same direction that the car was going.
And sorry, I lost my train of thought. When he chose to fire those 2 more shots, there were more officers on the scene. I'm not saying he was necessarily shooting at them, but there were more officers on the scene, correct?
Yes, they were coming in there, building, trying to help Officer Swain.
As regarding the magazines that we were talking about, I guess I just want to clarify. The point of me asking about the magazines being pulled from his car is not to say that we know those were the magazines he used in shooting the officers. I'm not trying to imply that at all. The point is, in him grabbing those magazines before the officers even come in, or I'm sorry, arrive, in conjunction with him saying, "You call the cops on me, there's going to be a shootout." What does that tell you about his intentions before he saw them deploy any rifles on him?
Right, yeah, like I was saying earlier, I mean, just the fact that he grabbed them, I mean, he might have had some other ones up there already, but he wanted extra, right? And he wanted to bring them up. And then again, saying what he said that you can make out in the 911 call, it shows that he's already thinking about, what he's gonna do when the officers arrive.
And then at the beginning of his cross-examination, he said something about the defendant possibly not being right in the head. Throughout his entire time in custody, when he gets put in the back of the car, which I know you've seen those videos as well, when he does this interview, and subsequent to this, does he ever appear to you to not be in his right state of mind?
I don't know, man, he seems like a pretty articulate guy, seems like a pretty smart guy. I never got the opinion that he was, messed up in the head or having mental illness, nothing like that.
In fact, Mr. Acevedo asked you if it seemed like he understood the consequences of what he had done, if he understood the nature of the circumstances that he has found himself in. Did he seem like that?
Very understood. He stated several times that he was in a lot of trouble, but he did understand.
And would him understanding be inconsistent with him not being right in the head?
Correct, yes, ma'am.
And with regard to him not being right in the head, Mr. Acevedo says, somebody who's not right in the head may do things that are not normal, that maybe you or I or a normal person would do. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Is going through a divorce normal?
It happens to a lot of people. I think it's like a 50% rate in the country. Like a lot of
Is
people get
losing a
divorced.
loved one normal?
Yes, it happens a lot.
Going through a hard time financially, is that normal?
Yes,
All of these are normal things that everybody experiences in their life, correct?
correct, yes, ma'am.
Nothing further.
Defend,
Few clarifying points, officer. Okay, we went back to the numbers, but I just don't want to leave a false impression on the jury. Saying 2-3 is different than 17. Okay, just so we can make sure we're really good on the numbers. Okay, he said about he thinks he shot Edward's car 2 times. We know it was a few more than that by the sound on the video. That's established. He says he didn't know how many times he shot at Swain. The officer presses him, so he says the number 3. Then he says, okay, after every, I just want to make sure we're not leaving a false impression because you probably don't know the timing that we've talked about. But Officer Vizcarra was in the house and Officer Swain was at the EMS vehicle already when Deason hears those 2 shots that Jesse's talking about that it was aimed at Monette's car. So Monette's car was shot and it was down the street at a house like 4 houses down. Is it very consistent that if he was aiming from his house in that window at Monette's car, he could hit it at least 1 time with 2 shots? Because there has been testimony her car had a bullet hole in it that they discovered. And
There was a, you know, I'm sorry, my mind's blank on that. I just remember, I know he shot toward, he admitted shooting toward the car. But I know we did find that round in the other, and one of the neighbors found like a projectile, I guess.
yeah, well, I mean, there were a couple of cars that had some holes in them, but Monette's car took a bullet. I mean, is it consistent with his statement to the detective that, yeah, the 2 shots, he says, I took 2 shots at Monette's car.
Yeah, yes, it is.
All right, so, but that, I guess the other fact is that, okay, when pressed, when he's saying, I don't know exactly how many times, but he gets 2, 3, and 2, so we're at 7. I mean, 7 and 17 is a much bigger difference than estimating 20 from Vizcarra when it's actually 62, right? That one was 42 off. That wasn't what.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna object. Officer Vizcarra estimated in the 40s. He didn't, misstatement of the testimony.
all right, you can answer the question. And if the question is incorrect in your eyesight, you may respond.
Okay, well, let me rephrase it so we can be real clear on this. Your prosecution guide will have the information of how many bullets Vizcarra shot, and that number is 62, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And so Jesse is estimating Vizcarra shot 20 times. Your documentation of the bullet count, CSI, and all that stuff indicates Vizcarra shot 62 times. He was off by 42 with Vizcarra, right?
Correct, yes.
Not because he's lying, just because, again, counting bullets in this situation is just not what people do. They don't count bullets that they hear, right?
It's tough sometimes, yes, sir.
Okay, and the right in the head part, I want to make sure, like, we have not pled like not guilty by reason of insanity, right? Like that's a whole different thing, right? Like, he's pled guilty to the offense. He's not saying he was insane. You know that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, again, just for clarification purposes, because I think this is pretty important. Certainly Jesse is at least rational in this video, right? I mean, he's answering the questions logically. He's not saying, you know, demons are over here, and, you know, he's not. That's not what we're talking about, right?
Yes, sir. Like I said earlier, he's very articulate. Seems like he has a lot of knowledge, especially about, you know, situation and guns, and yes, he's straightforward about what he did. Yes, sir.
All right. What I guess just to clarify, when we talk about mental health, a lot of mental health issues are a little more subtle than like the person you see on the street talking to themselves, talking to people that aren't there. Mental health can be much more subtle than that. Would you agree with
I
that?
mean, yes, there's I'm not, we get trained in that. I'm not we have a specialized unit that actually handles that mental health unit. They're way more, they get way more training than I have right now on that, but there's a big difference. There's probably a big degree of, you know, things to look at in the mental, in as far as mental illness goes.
If a person hypothetically is experiencing what could be clinical depression, that could affect behavior, but it's not.
Object to speculations. Witness isn't qualified to give an opinion on clinical depression.
No. Judge, she's crossed on the issue of being right in the head